and going into this final round of games, Hugh, you've got of course France, who we had Julien on, and you know the I don't want to say arrogance, but the confidence was in full flow, and rightly so. Like, right, it was this is a fantastic France team. We're going to get onto England and, you know, the reaction to that draw, which was pretty, you know, huge. For France, drawing that game against Hungary, a game that you would expect to win, that should have won. What was the reaction to that, and what's your reaction to that draw?
My reaction is like it's a good warning, I think, to receive, and I would rather this warning coming at this stage of the tournament than in the last 16 or quarterfinal, where you can draw in a similar kind of game and then lose on pens, for example, or something like that. So, because I think the players got complacent, there's no doubt that they didn't approach this game against Hungary in the same way that they did against Germany. Not even in the game plan that they had, which was obviously very different against Germany. They were very happy to sit back a bit and defend and then play on the counter or in quick transition when they got the ball, and they could easily have won that game 3-0. And this time they knew it would be different. They knew they would have more of the ball, and they got 66%, I think, of the ball. And they knew that they would create chances and how to take them. They didn't, because they could also easily have been 2-0 up at halftime, and we wouldn't have this kind of debate now. But they were not clinical enough, and they certainly were complacent. I think that's how the goal came, because both Pavard and Varane were thinking, "Oh yeah, I can get to this, but oh no, I can't. Oh yeah, oh no, I can't." And then the ball was in the back of the net, and then the stadium exploded. Oof. And it was hot, but I think the weather is the same for both. But I do think it's true that the fact that the fans were there in 56,000 people was just amazing. Griezmann said something interesting after the game, which, okay, maybe he's just him finding excuses, but he said, you know what, for 18 months now, we've all been used to silent stadium. No noise, no fans, nothing, where you can hear each other. You could talk like this, everybody hears in the stadium. This was our first game where we could not hear each other on the pitch. I could not hear Kylian, or I could not hear Karim. And I do think that maybe that changes slightly the bearings of your game, in the sense that you've been so used to something for 18 months that the noise was so big and the atmosphere was so amazing that maybe the French got a bit, I don't know, maybe it's just an excuse that you're trying to find, and I'm too kind with him, and it's BS.
He gave up at the end there, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe it's BS, but maybe there's something in it as well, in the sense that unsettled them a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's clutching at straws, isn't it? Let's be frank, because they've won a World Cup in a full stadium, and lots of those players have played together for a long, long time, probably more than virtually every team, you know, in the competition. They're a very settled starting 11. You know, they've played a lot of games together, maybe one or two possible changes, you know, from the team Benzema, and probably the left back from the team that we've seen over the past 5 years. So come on, Jules, you know, they just weren't at the races. You know, that goal, they did not defend that situation like it was, you know, a final. They did not defend that situation like they desperately wanted to win. I'm not going to call, you know, their motivation into question, but clearly
they were complacent for sure. Yeah.
They were complacent. You know, Benjamin Pavard, Rafael Varane, Real Madrid fans will say sort of 1 in every 5 games he'll put in a performance where he just doesn't seem 100% at it. And I also felt, even watching the game myself, that it was like, well, we'll score 2. You know, we're definitely going to come back into this. You know, and there was a sense of feeling of you know, not necessarily complacency, just they were quite comfortable. I know that the end result was 1-1, but I think they were having still enough joy going forward and creating chances and getting shots off. Kylian Mbappe looked great with the ball at his feet in particular, you know, some fantastic touches. N'Golo Conte showed what he can do with the ball as well. Paul Pogba was just, I mean, it was just a bag of tricks at times. And maybe all of those things boil into the fact that they weren't taking it as seriously as they maybe should have. And maybe they should have been a little bit sharper and crisper with their passing, a little bit more direct, not have as much fun. But I don't think they've done much, France, other than suggest to the rest of the competition that there might be a weakness later on down the line. Now, maybe that's their bad performance out of the way. Maybe that's how the French media, Jules, you can tell me, will look at it. Or maybe this has provided an opportunity for all of those people that say Didier Deschamps should play with a little bit more flair, a little bit more attacking intent. Maybe he's opened the door for a little bit of criticism there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we slagged them off. Me on ESPN and on the show, TV shows as well, in the French media, in L'Equipe, in Le Parisien newspapers as well, in the sense that you could have qualified with a win, and yet it was only Hungary, and clearly they were not up for it. And we just think it's a shame that you're so talented, you are the best squad in this tournament, and yet you still have this, I don't know, this problem. Let's call it a problem, because I don't think it's more than just a problem now and again of complacency. I think Deschamps is complacent at times as well. It's not just the players, and they want to stay positive, and they're looking forward to this game against Portugal on Wednesday night now to settle that tab in a way and go like, okay, we're going to show you again, because that was a little accident, but it's an accident that should not happen. Hugh, for me, you're World Cup champions. You can't go in a game like this 50-50 of your motivation and your energy and your desire. This is a game that you should use to show why you're World Cup champions, like you did against Germany. And that's why I thought it was a bit disappointing.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.